So for my first solo trip, I decided to go to Turks and Caicos. I took this trip because I wanted to just rediscover myself, figure out who I was outside of being a nurse, outside of being a mom, and just kind of do like a mental health check-in. Because after a number of years, you kind of lose yourself in your career, you lose yourself in family life, and you just need to, figure out who you were before you became all those things. So that's why I decided to take a solo trip. Now, why do I want to take a solo trip as a woman by myself, without my friends and family? Because why not? Like, you will discover so many new things about yourself on this trip that you just would have never done. You would have never like experienced some of the same things in a different way, a different capacity versus, traveling to the same place or a new country with your friends or your family. You learn that you're okay being alone. A lot of us fear being alone. Why? Like, why wouldn't you want to spend time with yourself? You are the most important person, or your relationship with yourself is the most important relationship you'll ever have, because you are going to be with yourself literally until the end, So it's like, why not get to know who you are through all of those changes that you've gone through? So for me, I chose a country that I felt was on the safer end. I did a little research, and before I booked my trip, I found a hotel that I felt was safe. I saw that this hotel was a luxury hotel, and I know that's like right up my alley. I like to relax. I like to indulge in the ambiance. Obviously, pick something that fits you and fits your personality, but I also wanted to fit something that I know I was going to have a good time. I know that I was going to appreciate. And I worked really hard leading up to that trip to be able to do that. So I figure, why not treat yourself? If you were going on a trip with someone else, you would want to stay somewhere nice too. So why not do it for yourself, So I stayed at the Shore Club. The Shore Club is a hotel that allows you to relax. You still have a nice beach. You still have access to different amenities. They have a gym. They have a really nice pool that's attached to the gym. They have a beautiful spa. Like, there are things that I really wanted in a hotel that I got there. The lobby is phenomenal. Like, it's so beautiful. The pool, everything. It was gorgeous. So for me, when I chose this hotel, I first went to the Turks and Caicos Tourism Board website, and I saw different recommendations for transportation. They have links to, where to stay, what to do, all that stuff. So I definitely would recommend going to whatever country you decide. I would recommend going to their tourism board website and just kind of seeing how things work in that country. When I went to Turks, it was during the pandemic. So I definitely needed like a health visa. I needed to have proof of vaccine status. If not, like, they have other, I'm not sure if they still have any requirements, but they have everything that you need on the website to be able to go. So I would definitely research whatever country you want to go to. I think by now, things are kind of, letting up as far as like vaccine requirements and things like that. But if you do need anything, the tourism board websites are usually good places to find information. So to start, I found the transportation link and to a reputable company. The company that I use, I'll try to link it below, but this video is not sponsored by any means. But I thought I had a really good experience with them. They were super easy. You can book it online. And literally set up everything, put your dates in, what time you want to be picked up. Do you want to make any stops along the way? Which is nice because one thing I wish I'd have done was visit the conch shack while I was there, because that's somewhere that everyone talks about. I think next time when I go, I definitely will do it. But it kind of seemed like, you know, you can, from what I remember on the website, was that you can make a stop before you get to your hotel. So I'll definitely look into that if you do want to visit any other places on your way to the hotel. So I booked online. When I got to the airport, they had a sign with my name on it. You go past the passport check-in, and they take all your information to the agents and, you know, check you in that way. That way you don't have to wait in the line. Because one thing about Turks and Caicos Airport is that it is smaller than usual, but I feel like a lot of Caribbean countries, sometimes the airports are small. So you just kind of have to be patient with that. If your flight comes in at the same time as, you know, other flights, that is something that can happen. So I would definitely look into getting your own private transfer. That way you can kind of bypass that line, get your passport checked, and then go straight to the pickup area. So they'll escort you through all of that. They'll escort you to the pickup area. Then they'll, you know, have the SUV that you arranged take you to the hotel. The driver was super nice. I didn't feel uncomfortable. He did ask me if I was by myself, but I also was like, no, I'm meeting someone. I'm by myself now, but I'm meeting, I said my cousin or my sister at the hotel. You definitely, if you're solo traveling as a female, you definitely want to, you know, use some common sense when it comes to who you're telling what. I definitely wouldn't give the information out that, yeah, I'm here by myself to anyone, really. I mean, obviously use your discretion and feel things out, but I would just kind of keep that low key and, you know, let that information just be for you. Like, you don't really have to share that with everyone. So after the private transfer, we got to the hotel. I checked in, toured the lobby. The concierge desk was super helpful when it came to booking anything that if you want to book any excursions or anything, they can, you know, help you out with that. This trip was definitely like a rest and relax kind of reset trip. So I didn't really book any like true excursions. I know they have jet skiing, and now you can do photo shoots with that, with the clear kayak and all that. At the time, I just wanted to relax. I was kind of just going for like a mental health break. So I really wasn't trying to do all that, but you can definitely do all that through the concierge desk at whatever hotel you choose. So when I got there, they had the welcome drink. They give you a tour of the property. And for me, I wanted to stay somewhere that was close to the lobby, close to like the pool area. And it wasn't a super big hotel, but they do have private villas that you can get. And all of that is kind of like in the same area, like in the front. I definitely wanted to be close to that. I didn't want to stay too far, just in case I went like for instance, if I go off and have dinner, and if I have a cocktail, I don't want to spend, you know, the night worrying about, okay, I got to go back because it's getting dark. I just want to go right to my room, you know, not too far off from where I'm having dinner, and feel safe. But overall, I definitely felt safe at the resort. I think the very first night I just was, you know, wanting to just be cautious with that. Of course, until you feel things out. So the very first night when I got there, I was like, okay, like, you know, the vibe is nice. Like, they had live music, and there were families there. There were like groups of friends, and it just kind of felt like, okay, like I was okay. Like, I can just kind of hang out and have a cocktail and then go back to my room. But, you know, I just had one, and I was like, you know your limits. Don't go overboard, obviously, especially when you're by yourself. I feel like that's kind of like common sense knowledge, but still, no matter how comfortable you feel in an environment, never let your guard down. So I did that the very first night. The second night, or the second day, I just kind of laid out by the beach, read a book, went over to their spa, and then they have, like I said, they had a pool that was near their spa. So I took a couple pictures, and don't be afraid to take your tripod. Like, I set my tripod up and I had a remote, and the hotel employees, nobody batted an eye. Nobody was worried about me taking my pictures. So don't be afraid to get your tripod and set yourself up, take all the photos you need, and then, you know your angle. So it's kind of like a win-win situation. You don't have to instruct anyone on how to take your pictures. Like, I'm saying this for people who feel like they have to ask someone else while they're on a trip to take their pictures. No, you can do it yourself. So I took some pictures there by the pool, and then I went off to have lunch. And they do have, some of the hotels I've noticed in Turks don't really have all-inclusive options. I know when I stayed at Beaches, after I took this solo trip, I went and stayed at Beaches, and they have an all-inclusive, it is an all-inclusive resort. So that was a little bit easier as far as like finding out, what you're gonna eat and all that. There were a lot more options. But some of the smaller boutique hotels seem to only usually have breakfast, and then for lunch and dinner you can either eat on the beach. They usually have like bars, like a bar and grill at the beach that you can get food from and drinks. But the breakfast was between, it was like during a certain time in the morning, and it was included in the room that I had purchased. So you can opt for that, or you can do something else, if you want to. The breakfast was really good. They did have like a buffet option, and then they had like just a regular set menu that you can pick from. And I do believe they had like fruit on there. I got these really good, it wasn't really a breakfast taco, but I have to look and see what the name was, but it was really good. Then afterwards, I went and had lunch on the beach after a few hours, and just kind of relaxed that first day. The second day, I went to the sister property. Now, the good thing about the shore club where I stayed is that they have 2 other sister properties, and you can go and visit each one if you're staying at one. And they're kind of like different levels. The other one is the Palms. That's the one that I visited, and that one, oh my gosh, is so beautiful. It's gorgeous, and I took so many pictures there. Like I said, I just set up my tripod and I was just clicking away, and everybody walking by was like not fazed at all. So if you're worried about, being there by yourself and people noticing or judging you that you're by yourself, most people don't really care. And most people are like, not worried about it. So don't be afraid, to do that. And so I spent the day there. That resort, the Palms, is on Grace Bay, which, oh my gosh, if any of you know about anything about Turks and Caicos, Grace Bay is one of the most beautiful beaches in the world. And it truly is. Like, the water is pristine. You can see it at the bottom. Like, that's the kind of vacation that I like. So that was really nice. I ordered pizza there. Pizza was really good. Overall, I feel like the food throughout both the hotels was really good. I ordered drinks at the beach and just kind of lounged around and, had like a little chill day for myself. On the way back, there's a shuttle that will take you from one property to the next, and it's free, or you can pay for a taxi and they can take you back if you want to go outside of the times that they offer. So I did the shuttle, and I met a couple from New York. They were really, really nice. I don't think that I told them that I was there by myself. They knew I was riding back by myself. But like I said, just, kind of use your intuition and feel out who you can share what information with. If you do want to go, and experience things with other travelers, and you book excursions and you want to meet other people, there's opportunity for that. So don't feel like when you go on a solo trip that you're going to be by yourself the whole time. You're going to meet people. Sometimes you're going to meet people that maybe next day you want to plan to do something all together with that's fine too. For me, I just wanted to let it truly be a solo experience where I didn't attach myself to anyone. I didn't attach myself to any groups, because I wanted to really just kind of spend some time with myself, self-reflect, and, you know, just use that time for really, you know, just to have me time, you know. I didn't want to feel guilty about not showing up a certain time for something. You know, I wanted to just be on my time. So, you know, meeting them was really cool, because, you know, we definitely shared some similarities, and we can kind of like, you know, just chit chat and all that. But I definitely, like I said, I just wanted to, you know, have some me time. And obviously, while you're there, if you do meet other people, I would say be cautious about obviously going off, you know, with them and things like that. I would do something that was like more so booked through the hotel as far as excursion wise. But use your discretion, and you can kind of feel people out that way. There's plenty of things to do in Turks. It definitely gives you like the more chill vibe, but I do see other people, you know, experiencing things that are similar to what you experienced on different islands, like jet skis and water sports and things like that. So if you do want to do stuff like that, you can. But my trip was definitely very zen and very calm. So another thing I wanted to mention was the food. Like I said before, the breakfast was included in my room rate, but lunch and dinner was not. So do your research as far as like what type of food you want to eat, and just kind of make sure that that hotel, you know, can offer you what you would like to eat. Do your research as far as like reviewing how the food was, you know, what other people had to say about it. You can go on like websites like TripAdvisor, and just, you know, review generally what people have to say about the food. Now, the food at the Shore Club was really good. It was phenomenal. I mean, the ambiance at the restaurants, everything like made it a full experience. So I knew that I wanted to have an experience for myself, and this was a trip that I took for my 35th birthday. So it was kind of like a milestone birthday. So I knew like I wanted everything to be enjoyable. I wanted it to be an experience, and it truly was. Some of my favorite restaurants at the Shore Club, I did enjoy the Almond Tree. I know I had breakfast there one morning, and the service was really good. The food was really good. And I think another one of my favorites is called Serene, I think. I gotta go back and check on that. But that was really good, because the ambiance there was another experience. Like they had like a waterfall in the middle of the seating area. It was just like nice and peaceful. It felt like really zen. Like it felt, you know, like it was supposed to. Like it felt like an experience. They do have, I believe that one has sushi. So they definitely had lots of options for you. So like I said, just research what type of food you like to eat, and see what your options are when you're traveling, when you're picking your resort. As far as leaving, the transportation company that I booked had round trip options. So I did book a round trip airport transfer, and so they came and got me when it was time. I just put the time in that I wanted, and, you know, just followed, you know, the prompts, and the guy just came to the front. They tell you what time they're coming to pick you up. You go and you check out, obviously check out at the hotel, and your driver is there waiting for you to take you back to the airport. And then when he takes you to the airport, you go through security, get on your plane, and go home. So it was super simple as far as like getting back home, transportation wise, or getting back to the airport transportation wise. So overall, I would definitely say do this for yourself. Research the country you want to visit. If you don't feel comfortable going out of the country by yourself, I would, you know, maybe start local, go on a solo date by yourself in your hometown. I didn't do that at first, but I think it was just kind of like, you know, just go for it for me. But if you definitely want to take baby steps, you can go on a solo date by yourself. Go sit at the bar at a restaurant, get dressed up. You know, that way you can kind of feel comfortable being by yourself, if, you know, if that's something that you're worried about. Or go to a state, you know, that you wanted to visit for a long time, but you know, you just haven't, you know, had anybody that wants to go to the state. Like for me, I definitely want to go to Arizona. I want to go and, you know, go to like a wellness retreat. So that's another thing that's on my list to do. So if you want to do something like that, just kind of research things that other solo travelers have done, and that way you can kind of see what they've done, kind of pick up any tips along the way if you don't feel comfortable just going off by yourself right away, and just go for it. I mean, what's holding you back? You know what I mean? As long as you do your research, you should be fine. Like, just use your common sense when you're traveling and just kind of be on alert, be aware of your surroundings, and make sure you keep your family updated on where you are. If you want to turn on your location, you know, do so. Do whatever it takes to make you feel safe. But overall, 10 out of 10, highly recommend solo travel. Even if you're a female, you know, you don't have to be afraid to do stuff like this. Like, do your research. You'll be fine.